Well, with just the huge range of properties at Disney, I'm sure there are just ideas galore floating around of rides that you could do and things like that. But in the end, it's incremental attendance
Right.
that has to be the key. Talk a little bit about how complex it is to build a ride. What are some of the key costs? And therefore, why the subtle part of it is we have to drive incremental attendance, otherwise we're just raising our costs.
Yeah, you're hitting it spot on, Andy. It is at the end of the day, we are a business, right? So we need to make sure the investments that we put in the ground have a return to them. And as we talked about at the very beginning or in another session, however it plays itself out, but as we talked about it, attendance plays a key role in our financial success. So, I also want to be clear. There are some, attraction ideas, or there are some entertainment things that we do that are innovation first. And I never want to lose sight of sometimes you've got to push yourself on the innovation front. And does it drive incremental attendance? Does it drive pure economic value? Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
But I will say there are ideas that it pushes the experience for the guest forward. But as the finance person in the room, just like, I'd love every idea to drive incremental attendance. So when you think about that, it all goes back to the needs assessment we talked about before.
Yep.
So are you creating something that is going to drive demand? Are you creating something that the commercial organization can talk about? So that's the demand driving side of the house. Is it a ride system that will meet the expectations of whoever it is you're building the ride for, whether it be young family, whether it be high energy for teens, whether it be for your grandmother and grandfather, right? So does it meet those expectations? So when we are out there talking about it, the consumer says, I'm excited about this thing. I'm going to get up off the couch. I'm going to go book my trip to Disneyland. So there's a lot of different aspects to that, but attendance isn't the only thing that drives value, right? I mean, I think also how much it costs to maintain that attraction, or how much it costs to cast, how many cast members it takes to run that attraction, also play a key role in the return of an overall investment, right? So, so you got the attendance, you got the demand side, the driver side. Oh, and by the way, if there's a lot of value to it, just like any other product out there that generates value, there's also opportunities on a pricing side if that presents itself as well. So you've got the revenue side of the house, but the cost side of the house is just as important. Like how much when we're in an environment where we're facing high labor costs, whether through benefit costs, a high cost to build, high cost to maintain. You're also looking at an attraction that can return off of managing a cost base to because a cost can eat up every bit of revenue you just generated through demand. So you've got to make sure that you're creating something that doesn't just is a cost beast. To it, right?
Right.
So I think as we're talking about ideas and all that, it goes back to the core of what you're trying to accomplish. The core of and what the strategic conceit is of that needs assessment, what the right IP is, what the right message is, what the right demand will be based upon all of those things, and that's kind of. But you're right. I mean, the beauty of the world that I get to live in and the partners I get to work with, like ideas are endless. And I'll tell you
I
what.
can just picture the meeting room talking about it,
If you're ever in a company that's got just one idea, you're in a tough spot. But I am it's a fun environment, but also I think that's what creates the challenges that you have, where you're trying to balance the creative ideas, and you never want to put creative in a box, because that limits their ability to really expand their thinking and grow. But at the same time, you can't let it grow so far, because then you're never going to actually make it come to fruition, because from a financial perspective, it becomes just too challenging.
Yeah, and I think overall what you're saying is sometimes you're adding a ride or changing a ride or evolving because the park itself needs to grow and evolve and keep up with technology and trends and things
Yeah.
like that, which may or may not drive incremental attendance. But then a kind of a core new ride, you are trying to drive incremental
Yes.
attendance. That's got to be harder to forecast than just daily attendance at Disney World, Disneyland. How do you go about saying if we do this ride, the incremental attendance will grow X?
Yeah. I guess the nice part about being at Disneyland is we have 70 years of experience.
Yeah.
So we do have a pretty good portfolio of things we've done in the past that we can go back and take a look and say, what did Space Mountain do? And that's going way back. So let's go even. What did Star Wars Galaxy's Edge do? Which was a themed land. It had 2 big attractions in it. It has some entertainment components. So when we start thinking about an Avatar, which we just announced not too long ago,
That's great.
a themed land with an attraction in
Yep,
it, and characters and all that. So you can begin to say, so what did this product do, and what do we think this will do when we layer on the IP that it represents, you layer on the economic environment that it'll be opening up against,
Yep.
you layer on all those other things. We do use a lot of just comparisons to what we've done in the past, and then update it for what we know the new factors are in today's landscape.